Used Bike Heaven this week, we'll meet Simon Tilford, who's looking for something slightly faster and more sporty than his Honda CB500. We'll also have another featured used bike, some riding tips and some information to help us stay on the right side of the law. This is Simon Tilford. He's a 34-year-old metallurgist from St Anne's near Blackpool. He's been riding bikes on and off since he was 17, and his current machine is a Honda CB500, which he says is a little slow and lacks that sporty feel. So this week we've assembled 3 600cc sports bikes for him to try.
Hello and welcome to the show, and I have Simon with me. Now Simon, you currently have a CB500, don't you?
Yes, that's right.
What are you looking for today?
I'm looking for a Sport 600. Something that's a bit quicker and handles a lot better than what I've got at the moment.
But you're not into like the sports end of the range, are you?
No, I'm not really that bothered about an R6 or something. I want something I can ride all day and still enjoy. And
keep up with your mates.
Yeah.
Because that's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
Well, yeah, the bike's a bit underpowered compared to my friends, yeah.
Right, okay, so have you got a budget?
Yeah, about £3,500 to £4,000.
Oh, well, that's good, because today we've got for you the ZX6, which is 3.5.
Yep.
Have you ever ridden one of these before?
Yes, I have. I've ridden one before. I nearly bought one about 3 years ago. And in the end, I decided just to stick with the CB for then. Yeah. Just because of financial reasons,
really. That's quite good then. So you're kind of into those already. So these are going to be real competitors for you.
Yes.
CBR600. This is slightly over budget.
Right.
But that doesn't matter, does it?
No.
If we can entice you. And the Thundercat, which is 36.
Right.
What do you think of the three of them collectively?
Well, the CBR's the most popular 600, so there must be something about them. So I'd like to have a ride on one of those. Yeah. Just see what they're like.
Very popular bike.
Yep. And then the Thundercat, always got really good reviews, but never seemed to take off sales-wise. It's got a reputation for being the more comfortable of the 600. So I thought everybody I know who's ever ridden one likes them. So
well, that's kind of what you're looking for, though, isn't it? Not hard, sports bike as such.
No, that's right.
More a little bit Tory. Well, that's great. Well, we're going to let you loose on them.
Right, okay.
But before we do, we're going to go to Richard, who's going to give you some facts and figures to help you with these 3 bikes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right on.
Okay, Simon, if it's sporty performance you're after, then climb aboard Kawasaki ZX6R Ninja. Introduced in '95, the Ninja kicks out around 100 brake horsepower, which is almost double that of your own CB500, so it certainly shouldn't feel slow. It has, of course, those aggressive looks which have become so popular, and handling-wise it's as sharp as any top sports machine. This particular bike is a P-registered edition from '97, and although the mileage is on the high side at 25,000, it does appear to have been well cared for. It is the cheapest of this week's bikes. In fact, you can ride away on this Ninja Warrior for just £3,500. Slightly more expensive is Honda's trusty CBR600. This is the machine which almost every biker has ridden at least once, and it's been a top seller since its launch way back in 1987. Power from its inline 4-cylinder motor is claimed to be around 105 brake horsepower, and with an all-up weight of just 186 kilos, the CBR600 has the ability to compete with the very best in its class. Our bike this week is an R-registered one from '98, which makes it an FW model. It's covered just 10,500 miles, and it's fitted with a spyball alarm system. It's on sale at £3,800. And finally, a bike which some might say shouldn't be included in the 600cc sports bike class, although owners would tell you different. Yamaha's YZF600 Thundercat was launched in '96 to compete with the likes of Honda and Kawasaki, and whilst it didn't really set the world on fire in terms of sales figures, owners have reported that it was every bit as capable in most real-world situations. There's no doubting that the Cat is a good-looking machine, and with a motor that develops close on 100 brake horsepower, it's certainly quick enough for most. This example is from '98 and, like the Kawasaki, has an above-average mileage at 20,000. Once again, it is in showroom condition and has a price tag of £3,600.
So that was Richard there with a few facts and figures. Anything there to help you?
Yeah, I still like the sound of the Kawasaki. So.
Right. Okay, well, it's a good bike, so we're going to set you off on that, remind you of it. Okay, will you go and get your kit on then?
Okay, I'll do that.
And while Simon's off on the ZX6, here's Richard with this week's used bike review.
Now, those Us European types love these great big enduro style bikes like the Africa Twin. It is actually a known fact that 9 out of 10 Germans have at some point or another leapt on one of these, bolted on those narrow metal panniers to the back and buggered off around the world. So there must be something right about them. But I've avoided trying one until now for one very good reason. It's this. Bit of a problem, but it's not that bad. If you are like me, built more for compactness than anything else, once you're on board, those long, soft off-road springs compress and bring the ground almost within reach. And once you're rolling, well, it's really not a problem. The Honda Africa Twin 750 has been around for a few years now, so you could say it's getting a bit long in the tooth, or you could say it's a classic. Either way, it's certainly not changed much over the years. What you're not buying with an Africa Twin is a sophisticated machine loaded with cutting-edge technology. They're built and designed to look rugged, and in fact, they are rugged. So that's exactly what you get, a simple, solid machine, that long travel off-road-ish suspension front and back, the wheels with those tyres that look off-road, but those are road tyres, they're not fooling anybody. Then you get a simple frame, cradling a simple V-twin 750cc engine that shares components with a dozen other 750s in the Honda range. On board, well, obviously you've got these huge broad handlebars, you're sitting almost bolt upright, and in front of you is a dash layout that, I don't know if it's a layout, it's a throw-out really. Certainly nothing like a sports tourer, bits and pieces clustered about all over the place. But it's got everything you need. You're not riding a tourer, you're riding a roughy, tufty enduro. But what's really amazing is what a good tourer it makes. That riding position is so comfortable for long journeys. Bolt upright, arms out wide, legs straight down below. Believe me, it's comfy. Now, of course, you'd have to be mad to attempt the Paris-Dakar on something like this. It is very much more a styling exercise after off-road, rather than romping across hill and dale. But that long travel suspension means it irons out even the roughest of potholes. It's silky smooth. Anybody who's ever spent any time on this, or even many other bikes in the same category, will tell you what's also amazing is how well it goes around corners. The suspension compresses, it soaks up the bumps, and it'll grip and grip and grip. You can get some serious lean on, if you so choose. Mind you, it's quite a long way down. Some things I really don't get. Most computer games, those stupid little mini scooters, bikes with CD players, I don't get any of those. This, I actually do get. It might seem a really odd idea to go touring and use every day a bike that's styled to look like something you'd cross the desert on, but it actually makes a surprising amount of sense. That riding position, upright with your arms widely spaced, is hugely comfortable. Those great dollops of torque from that simple V-twin mean it is actually a delight to ride without feeling you've got to go at breakneck speed everywhere. And they're cheap. Best of all. This R-plated example with about 17,000 miles on the clock, you'd pick up for £4,500, and you could get one for less. Remember, there's no need to buy desperately new with something like this. They're very long-lived. So cheap, practical and durable. Maybe the Germans had it right after all.
Thanks for that, Richard. Well, while you've been away, Simon has returned with the Kawasaki. What did you think?
I thought it was really good. I felt really at home on it.
Yeah?
Yeah, it felt really tight. It's 5 years old, you know, it's done 25,000.
It's the oldest of the 3 bikes.
Yeah, and I'm surprised how good it felt. I'm looking forward to riding the Honda because, yeah, they've got a good reputation for sort of reliability and everything.
Yeah.
And this just felt really good. Brakes felt fantastic, gearbox was really good, and the induction how Kawasaki's are famous for, and really pleased with it.
Yeah? So the power delivery and everything was exactly what you want? You felt safe on it?
Yes.
Yeah? Right.
Yeah, exciting bike to ride.
Now, do you like the looks of it?
I do. I prefer them in green though.
Yeah?
I think with it being a Kawasaki, it's got to be green.
Do you know, everybody says that. I'm surprised they sell any other colour. Yeah, I mean, it looks a good bike, but do you think it might look a bit dated in the not too distant future? Well,
it could do. I mean, the bikes are moving to be a little bit more radical with the sort of following the trends of the R6 and everything, and going that bit more sporty. But no, I think it's a nice looking bike.
Yeah.
I'll be looking to keep it for about 3 years, and I think it'll be fine for that period.
Yeah. Well, it's not expensive, is it?
No.
And it's obviously been looked after because, you know, you say it rides properly and doesn't ride like it's done 25,000.
No, it doesn't.
So, you know, it's what you need, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Well, we like that one then. So let's have a little look at the Honda. Okay. CBR600. Have you ever been on one of these before?
No, I haven't. No, I know a few people who've got them, and they all rave about them.
Yeah.
And of course, it's the best-selling 600, so there must be something.
That's it. A lot of people like them. Well, if you get your jacket back on, then I know it's a bit hot for you, but and you tell us what you think.
Okay, I will do.
Okay, so while Simon's out on the Honda, seeing if the Honda's better than the Kawasaki, here's Paul, our legal eagle, who's intent on keeping you on the right side of the law.
Well, this week we're going to talk about wheelies and stoppies and things like that that people do on public roads sometimes. Is it illegal to do a wheelie on a public highway?
It's a difficult one to say yes or no. I think we've split it into two areas.
Well, that's good that it's not a definite yes, it's illegal.
Yeah, it's a bit of a grey area.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, we've got to prove it. Okay, so the first element is where is it? If it's on a road or a public place, then you can commit an offence under the Road Traffic Act. Okay, well, it could be dangerous driving, death by dangerous, drive without due care attention, that kind of thing. The second one is, are you or are you not in control of that vehicle? So we've got to prove both elements before we can say the wheelie or stoppie is actually an offence.
A good stunt rider would argue, I think, that he is in, or she is in better control of the vehicle because it's a very difficult thing to do.
Well, there's no doubt in it. Actually, pulling a wheelie, a control wheelie, and going through the gearbox, for instance, I mean, I can't do it.
No.
You've got to have good control of the bike. Yeah. The problem is, once the wheel's up there, if something goes wrong and you need to brake quickly, where are your best brakes?
Right.
They're up in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
And all right, you can argue, well, it's a couple of seconds to get the wheel down the floor, but as you'll know, if you're travelling at speed, a couple of seconds can be the difference between life and death.
Absolutely, yeah. What about things like, and you see it every Sunday if you go out into the country, you see lads pulling away from sets of lights and they've just pop a little wheelie. It just comes up a bit and comes down. I mean, if there was a bobby sat down, would they get done for that? They could do, I suppose, couldn't they?
Yes, potentially you can. And again, it's all down to that split second, isn't it? I mean, I've been to numerous collisions now where an innocent few seconds of wheel has actually resulted in a fatal collision.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. If you're doing that, you're not totally in control of that machine.
Right.
And it only wants that one little thing to go wrong, the dog running out, a patch of diesel, whatever.
Yeah.
And because you're not totally in control of the bike, boom.
That's right. That's in a public place we're talking about now.
Road or public place, yeah.
A car park is a public place, is it?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
basically, if you look at, you've got public, have got access to and from that area. Right. It's a public place. So parks, car parks, things like that
still count as a public
yes.
place. So you need to go on a completely private road, somebody's private drive up to there.
Go to a wheelie school or a track day, something like that.
That's right. I suppose the bottom line is leave it to the experts, isn't it?
Yeah. But I mean, you can argue that if you can go to a wheelie school, track day, and do all this kind of stuff and do it well, it could actually improve your road riding skills.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it will. Yeah. What's the offence then? We always ask you this at the end. What's the penalty, should I say? Again,
it's just like a sliding scale. It depends on the conditions. So, say you just did a straightforward wheelie down a fairly quiet road, it could be not in a position to maintain proper control, which is a relatively minor offence. It's the same thing we use for mobile phones at the moment.
Right.
Or it could go all the way up to dangerous driving riding, which is potentially a custodial sentence.
Well, so as we say, the bottom line is leave it to the experts.
Yep.
Right.
Oh, thanks, Paul. Well, that's it for part one. Join us in part two when Simon will hopefully be back with the Honda and we'll be sending him out on this, the Thundercat. See you after the break. Welcome back to Used Bike Heaven. Now, if you were with us in part one, you'll know we're with Simon Tilford, who's looking for something with a bit more power. So we sent him out on the ZX6. He liked that, nothing wrong with that. Then we sent him out on the CBR600. And we're waiting to hear what he thinks.
Right, I was a little bit disappointed with it. With Honda's reputation for durability and everything, I thought it would be, for the same age, a little bit better than the Kawasaki, but really, it felt quite used. It's only done 10,000 miles.
Yeah, it's done, well, over half.
Yeah, which is half the mileage. And the clutch, you had to lay it out a long way before it bit. And it just generally just felt a little bit tired.
Yeah, like it's had a hard 10,000.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
So what about comfort-wise?
It felt a little bit small for me. Maybe if I was a couple of inches shorter, it would be ideal. But I just felt like after a long ride, I just feel a little bit too cramped on it.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Right, all right then. Well, we'll leave the CBR.
Yep.
Don't tell me too much. And on to the Thundercat.
Okay.
Have you ever ridden one of these before?
No, I haven't, no. They're a nice looking bike and I'm looking forward to trying it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Get your kit on then and tell us what you think.
Wow.
So while Simon sees if the Thundercat is the bike for him, here's Paul with some advice on your riding.
One of the best things about biking is riding with other bikers, and there's nothing better than getting out on a Sunday morning for a blast with your mates. But as with everything in life, if you're riding in a group, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do it. So first of all, let's look at the wrong way. Okay, here we are now on a motorway. We're following another bike. In fact, we're following another 3 bikes, but from this position you wouldn't know it. There's the 3 bikes up ahead. And they're almost in single file, so just look at how much room they're actually taking up on the motorway. And from our position here on bike number 4, if something should occur up ahead and we need to brake suddenly, we probably have very little chance of stopping. We could be in for a nasty rear end shunt. Bike number 3 now has decided to take the outside lane. There's no reason, no traffic to overtake. Perhaps he simply wants to wave to his mate. And once again, here we are now far too close to the bike in front. Speed, as you can see, is not constant. We're all over the place, and you have to say this is a very undisciplined and certainly a rather unsafe way of riding in a group. So how about this then? Here we are now in a staggered formation. Bike number 1 is to the left, bike 2 to the right, bike 3 to the left, and so on and so forth. From our position here on bike number 4, we can see the road ahead, we can see all the other bikes in our group, and should we need to stop suddenly, we would have somewhere to go. In fact, every bike should have somewhere to go, and we're actually taking up a lot less room on the road. When it comes to junctions, we're now able to close up this formation, and here we have 4 bikes stopped at the traffic lights, taking up perhaps the space of just 1 car. That was on a motorway where it's not likely to get too twisted, but how about on a fast A road? Well, the same can apply. Once again, here we adopt our staggered formation. Bike number 1 moves left, so bike number 2 moves right, number 3 moves left, and so on and so forth. Once again, we can now see every other bike in the group, we can see the road ahead, and once again, we're taking less room on the road. It's a much more disciplined way of riding. It's also a much safer way of riding, and you might think this sounds daft, but it looks good as well. You look organised, you look disciplined, and if you look like you know what you're doing, you look like you mean business as a group collectively, then for some strange reason, other road users do seem to give you more respect, perhaps give you a little bit more room, and that's never a bad thing if you're on a bike.
Thank you, Paul. Well, while you were away, Simon came back with the Thundercat. Now, Simon, what did you think to it?
I liked the bike. I felt very comfortable on it. It's got a nice, comfortable saddle. It's fairly spread out bars. It felt yeah, like it'd be really good for a long distance ride.
Yeah, because this will probably do everything that you want it to do, won't it? You know, keep up your friends.
Absolutely,
and be comfortable.
It's quick enough for what I'm really after. And it feels like it'd be really good to go touring on.
Yeah, right. Well, so brakes and things on this.
Yeah. When I was out riding it, I noticed that the brakes were a bit spongy and there was a bit of a glitch between first and second. Now I know Yamaha's got a bit of a reputation for clunky gearboxes.
Yeah,
so
but they've also got a reputation, these in particular, for good brakes.
That's it. So you know, it's something you could sort out with a dealer.
Or maybe just this bike. Maybe if we could find you one in the.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it probably is just this bike. It feels like there might be some air in the line or something.
Yeah.
So it'd be a fairly quick fix.
Okay. Looks-wise.
I think it looks great in the black.
Yeah.
They do them in other colours, but I think this is the best combination for this particular model. Mm-hmm. The Kawasaki, it looks nice in the red, but I think it'd have to be green.
Yeah.
And then the Honda is just a little bit too colourful.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I mean, talking about that then, good and bad points on the Kawasaki. The Kawasaki,
I just felt at home on it. It felt just like I fitted into it. I really enjoyed riding it.
Yeah, bad points, if you can think of any?
There weren't really any with that model.
No? No, right, okay. The Honda, good
points.
Honda,
good points. It felt like it handled pretty well and was quick, and you know, the great reputation for reliability and everything.
Yeah. So maybe although you felt that one was a bit tired.
Yeah, that one was a little bit tired. But if I tried another, I think if I tried a couple more, I'd get one that felt pretty good.
Yeah. And we know what you think to this. So have you made a decision?
I have, yes.
Oh, okay, that was very definite. Well, don't tell me what it is, because we're going to go to Richard now, who's going to give us a recap.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, Simon, it's make up your mind time. Will you choose the ZX6R Ninja at $3.5 grand, which you said felt fresh and lively despite its higher than average miles? Or will you be tempted to spend a little more and stump up £3,800 for Honda's CBR600, the bike which has topped the sale charts for so long? Or maybe you'll choose the machine which you found to be the most comfortable, Yamaha's Thundercat, priced at £3,600. Oh, and we promise to have the brakes serviced at no extra charge. Simon, the choice is yours.
So that's it, Simon. It's crunch time. You've got to tell me which one you're going to go for.
I'm going to go for the Kawasaki.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I got that impression. So we know you love it, but what do you love about it?
I just love the way it does everything. I had a thought in my head about how I wanted the bike to behave, accelerate well, handle well, look good. It does all of those. Not that the other two didn't particularly, but this one just felt like it fitted me perfectly.
That's it. There's a bike out there for everyone.
Yep.
So it's within your budget, which is good, but there is one problem, isn't there?
Yeah, I prefer it in green.
Yep, so now I've got to go and find you a green one, haven't I?
Yep.
That's great. You're easy to please. Well, thank you very much for coming in. And that's it for this week. Join us next week for some more used bike heaven. So you know, if you get a green one, you're going to have to get green leathers, green boxes.
On Used Bike Heaven next week, we'll once again be helping someone to find their perfect bike. We'll have more legal advice, another riding tip, and of course there'll be another featured used bike.